The views and opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the host and guest and do not reflect the opinions or policies of the station, its owners, or its advertisers. All content should be considered editorial in nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Recorded live, Cumberland County's smartest hour of talk radio. Welcome back to another edition of the Carolina Cabinet.
Well, everyone, good evening and welcome to the Carolina Cabinet. I'm your host, Peter Pappas, in studio with the lovely Laura Musler.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. So we haven't been on the air in a couple of weeks. We got had to take a little bit of a break, as people know that my dad passed on May 17th. So interesting couple of weeks, to say the least. But I do have to thank a lot of people that have come out. And I think the Facebook post I had was like 400 people have commented. And then the restaurant people have, customers have asked how I am, people that went into the restaurant and all. And I've kind of been avoiding going because it's going to be all day of that. It's tough. And it's, but
you got to get it out of the way. It's going to happen one way or another.
It is. It's like pulling a Band-Aid off. You got to go.
And you'd rather go through it mostly now than be like out of the blue. Somebody be like, hey, and catch you off guard.
Oh, it's okay. Yesterday on my drive to Myrtle Beach, I had the first random ugly cry. I accidentally let Spotify play a bunch of old Greek music that my dad used to listen to. And it was Niagara Falls.
I will tell you that being around your family, the little bit that I was, listening to the people from Greece, I'm like, oh, they sound so mafioso.
Well,
because they were speaking Italian and they're using their hand and they're like, oh, that guy.
Well,
and I was like,
I did plant the seed when I said consigliere.
Okay,
and, but
I felt like it was like in a scene in The Godfather or something.
Yeah, it definitely it could appear that way. I would give you that. Yeah.
They're like, oh, how you doing?
And I was like, well, where do you think the Italians got it from?
I'm sure.
There's a guy named Yannis Pappas is his name. So that's actually my brother's name, Yanni Pappas. But there's a comedian, Yannis Pappas, and he does a caricature called Mr. Panos. And very Greek, he's got the big chains and he's kind of greaseball hair. And he says,
I didn't see anybody with greasy hair.
He says, Italian peoples are just little brown Greek peoples.
I did, but that's what it felt like. It was, like the family was there and they were like.
Well, so I had a cousin and a nephew from Greece that flew in. Unfortunately, they were here. They had planned to be in because she lost her brother-in-law up in Burlington. So the people from my dad's area, they settled Fayetteville, Burlington, Greenville, South Carolina, and Charlotte, a lot of them. And so my cousin was coming back for that. And then my dad died, I think, a day or two after the gentleman in Burlington. So she just added to her trip and, she stayed. And it was nice having the cousins over, and I haven't been to Greece since 1993.
Okay. If you decide to take a trip and you need like somebody to hold your bags, I'm in.
I got you. Well, I don't know. My mom might surprise me again like she did last year and say, hey, me and your sister are going to Greece. I'm like, but it's okay. Right. I got to stay and take care of Dad.
Yeah, but you and your significant other, can we say her name on air?
Her name is Dee.
Dee.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
If you and Dee go, I will be your
You'll be the au pair.
I will be the au pair.
You can handle the kids, and we get to have a good time. Yeah, yes. We'll all have a good time.
Absolutely.
The kids go to bed at 8, so plenty of time.
That's fine.
So
I'm in bed early anyway, so it's okay.
Yes, you are. But you're not a boring person.
No.
Bed early, but you're not a boring person.
Not at all.
So
at least I like to think I'm not. I guess everybody thinks they're not boring.
Yeah. Well, so besides supporting me and my family in the last week or so, what else have you been up to?
I have a full-time job of finding a full-time job.
Okay.
I have applied for everything, even things that I'm not even remotely qualified for at this point, but I have literally spent 8 hours a day for the last 2 weeks on the computer applying for jobs.
Don't they say fake it till you make it? You never know.
I'll do whatever. I'm calling in favors. If you know somebody, if you're on the air and you see somebody and you know somebody that's hiring an administrative assistant, something, anything, I'm desperate. I'll sweep your floors.
Yes, you will. And she's a pretty good mop too.
I've
seen you do that.
Yep.
You clean tables,
I'll do whatever it takes.
You're very versatile. I'll give you that. Yeah.
And I do whatever needs to be done. It's not in my job description. I've never heard that before.
I will say, like, sometimes I'm like, no, let the guy get that. And you're like, no, you just run and clean up the office and take I'm like, just let the guy do it. And you just won't sit still.
because it needs to be done. So
yeah,
who cares?
I know, but I'm like, I'm providing jobs. Let the guy do it.
Yeah, that's true.
so we have been away, like I said, a lot of, but things have not stopped.
Nope.
I mean, we're catching up on the biggest stories that developed while we were away. Let's talk about what they mean for North Carolina and Cumberland County. Let's jump into a national topic.
Okay, the big ones first.
Immigration.
Yes.
So it continues to dominate Washington. It's no longer like whether enforcement's going to increase. It's how much we're going to spend to keep this thing going. And Congress, of course, has to debate a significant increase in the spending.
Well, if they have to spend more to enforce the laws that are already on the books, then they should.
Yeah.
Provided that the money is going,
to the proper usage.
Right,
yeah,
right.
absolutely.
But spending alone is not going to solve the problem. So, civil liberties.
Well, but it's not a little number. I mean, look, they're considering 70 to 72 billion in additional immigration funding. That's over, a lot of guacamole.
That's over several years. That's not like next year.
Oh, it's not next year.
No,
okay.
It's like over the next several years.
That's a lot of new SUVs. But that's spread over ICE and Border Patrol, detention.
Yeah.
Recruitment. We did some homework today.
We did.
I'm kind of happy about that.
I actually did some good homework too.
Yeah, you did.
But,
So 72 billion over several years. Do you know how many? Like 4 or 5 years, you think?
It says several.
Several, yeah.
I don't know what several is, but several is more than.
I can't take several to the bank.
Several is 3 or more.
A few is 3.
Is it?
A couple's 2. A few is 3.
Okay, so then 4 or more.
Okay, let's say 4. Okay, so 4 over 70 billion over 4. Senate proposal released in May, more than 38 billion for ICE. Oof. And 26 billion for customs and border protection, and additional for White House.
To me, it's a little weird that it's 26 billion for custom and border, because wouldn't that be already heightened and increased because of 9/11 way back when? I mean, you would think we would be all over that. So, but just a thought. But
where is Homeland Security? Where are the airport guys in this? Is that CBP?
That's Homeland Security. No, that's
TSA. TSA, that's their own thing.
Isn't that TSA, isn't that under Homeland Security?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So prolonged Department of Homeland Security funding battle. That's awesome.
I love the fact that they're talking about pulling all the border and immigration people from the people that are sanctuary cities. So that if you come into one of those, like Newark,
yeah.
If you fly into there will be no border or agents or whatever. So that means you can't leave the airport. I think that's hilarious.
You mean like if you come from an international flight, there won't be anybody manning the immigration.
Yeah,
desk.
You'll have to fly to another airport that is doing it in order to come into. Otherwise, you're stuck inside the.
It's like we want to hold people accountable when they come into our country,
and we also want to hold those cities accountable that want to be sanctuary. You want to be sanctuary, then we're going to put our people, and you're going to protest us and throw things at us. We're going to go to cities that want us there.
Well, and that's one theme that came up, and I hate to go back to my dad again, but it's like he wanted us to assimilate,
right?
Very much so. He was. I said in his eulogy, he said, "Think like an American, work like a Greek," right? But be an American. And that's why my middle name is Bill and not Vasily.
It even says it in the Bible.
Yeah.
When you come to be a stranger to
stranger in a strange land.
That's exactly right. So
well, it looks like we're part of the immigration issue. We're going to get rid of, or we're still in question, to end the temporary protected status of hundreds of thousands of Haitian and Syrian immigrants. Now, 350,000 Haitians and 6,000 Syrians.
Okay.
That we're trying to end the protected status of those folks. I think. Didn't they overstay a lot of their?
That's what my understanding. I'm not really up to date on this, but I would say a lot of them, the huge majority, overstayed their welcome. Not their welcome. Of course they were welcome.
Yeah.
But they were given permission to be here for a period of time, and they didn't do what they were supposed to do in order to stay.
Right. As far as like going and reporting in and keeping it updated. Yeah.
So their stuff expired. So you got to go. If you wanted to be here so bad and you needed the sanctuary, then you would do what you need to do to stay here. Yeah. I would.
Well, look at Jim. I mean, he he pursued his status and everything, and he really worked hard at that.
I have another friend who is married to somebody who's here on a green card, and their green card during COVID expired, which I understand, but they were still filing, and they had all the paperwork, and it was expired, so he was not allowed to work for a period of time. Now he's going to get his green card because he stayed on top of everything.
Yeah. Well, it's a job. I mean, just like your job is getting a job. It's
right.
If you're a visitor to our country, your job is to assimilate, get in the lane.
That's exactly right.
So I don't know. Look, whether we support what the administration is doing or not, I think it's pretty straightforward. Congress wants to screw around with the money. I mean, that's just what they do.
Right.
The Supreme Court has this big deal with the ending the protected status, which I get a little bit concerned with doing stuff like that, because we are still the light of you bring us, you're tired, you're poor. And if somebody is under protective status, I'm like, if we return them to their homeland, what is going to happen to them? I'm a little concerned with that, but I do want them to do their stuff.
I was going to say, you have to accept responsibility for that. If something bad is going to happen to you, wouldn't you be doing everything that you could so you didn't have to be returned? I mean, because it's not a debate whether immigration is a major issue or not. The debate is whether the policies will actually solve the problem and whether taxpayers want to pay for it.
Well, and I do believe, I think without even running a metric, this is the most pronounced and heaviest immigration enforcement that I've seen in my lifetime.
It spread across, but I mean, Obama was called the chief deporter, and I mean, he deported more people than Trump has.
What was he, just cool about it, or people didn't care? Because I don't remember the protests and the AOCs of the world going to the fake fence.
Because the Republicans have jobs, except for this one,
pretty much,
and don't have time to protest.
Yeah.
But the Democrats have traditionally had a fantastic fundraising machine with the billionaires and trillionaires that fund these people to protest. And if you notice a lot of the protests, you can see some of the same people at different protests.
Oh, they're paid actors.
Right.
Absolutely.
When I protest, I'm protesting because I care.
Right.
Nobody's cutting me a paycheck.
You just wanted a day off and a long bus ride that was fraught with danger. Wasn't that the DC trip?
Yes.
Then you have like 3 different buses on the way back.
Yes, we did. But I mean, I went up there because I believe.
Yeah, because you believe in the cause.
Right.
Yeah, I get that. Well, we saw it here locally in the Fayetteville No Kings protest.
They succeeded.
They got here, and there was a group of people that they're like, we got to go. And I'm like, where y'all headed? And we got to get to, I think, Greenville. They were going from here to like ECU to protest.
But I just want to say congratulations on their protest. They won. Yeah. There's no kings.
They got exactly what they wanted.
So we were discussing this at breakfast on Sunday morning, because we moved our family breakfast to Sunday, back to Sunday. And my granddaughter's mom, I don't know how to do this.
It would have been a sister-in-law or a daughter-in-law. My bad.
Well, but she wasn't.
Well,
had another child, and his name is King. Okay. Could you imagine King at a no Kings?
Okay. There was a kid I employed a long time ago. His name was Original, and his brother's name was Everlasting.
No.
I've had crazy names. Like, hey, that was their legal name. So.
But I mean, how awkward would that be? My name is King. Where are there no Kings?
No King. No, get out of here, King. Okay.
That's exactly right. I thought that was funny. Yeah. Anyway, but while Washington is fighting over immigration, Raleigh has finally started making progress on the budget that affects all of us and our North Carolina family.
Oh, well, the most important thing we need to understand is that this wasn't a fight over whether we have the money. I mean, we're running a huge surplus right now.
Huge.
But we're not going to say that's because the Republicans are in charge. We're just it's a big surplus.
Well, we were in debt when the Democrats were in.
All right, that's fine. It's a Republican deal. We're better with money. But now we're running a surplus. The fight is over what to do with that money. Do you spend it on teacher pay and government services, or do you continue reducing taxes and let taxpayers keep more of their own money?
Well, after years of deadlock, leaders have finally said that they found common ground on both teacher pay raises and tax cuts, which are the two biggest obstacles.
Well, to me, tax cut puts money in your pocket. I think we were talking about property taxes earlier. It puts money in your pocket that you can then now go and buy something else, which will generate sales tax and generate wages and everything else. And it keeps the economy growing.
That's exactly
instead of
right.
burying it in the government.
I listened to an entire thing with Ron DeSantis, and I actually did when I heard it, that really made sense. He was talking about they're trying to do away with property taxes. He said you should not have to lease your private home from the government. You should be able to own your home.
Right.
So they're making it a $250,000
exception
homestead. So then the real rich people will still pay. And if you have investment properties or Airbnbs, you'll still pay property taxes. But where you're living in your home, you should not have to rent it from the government. And he's saying, and of course, everybody's on there going, well, you're taking money from the taxpayer. He says, who can spend my dollar better than me? I can. And the wrong way of thinking is the government needs to spend your money more. So we need to take more of your money because everything is getting more expensive. But what happens is the well is going to run dry. People are going to stop. They're going to move away.
Isn't that kind of the rule of socialism? It's all fun and games till you run out of somebody else's money.
That's exactly right. But this way, you're getting your own money. You're spending it. Again, you're getting more tax revenue. It actually grows your economy. I mean, look at, I will say that based on his track record, he's doing an outstanding job in Florida.
Well,
but again, I do say that with a little bit of an asterisk.
Bit of cost. Well,
because that is a huge tourist place.
Right.
So a lot of people spend a lot of money in Florida.
Well, tourism aside, I mean, I think also industry brings money. They lowered their income tax to zero, haven't they?
No income tax in Florida.
No, none at all. And so, I mean, corporations will take notice of that. And the more that they move there for industry, they employ, they pay health insurance. I mean, it has a really good effect. Now, North Carolina, though, we have not had a full budget since 2023. They spent over a year disagreeing to teacher pay. I mean, my problem with teacher pay is always, and I think we had Tom Hatch here a couple of weeks ago, and is how do we measure performance of a teacher? And not only do we start them higher so we don't lose them to South Carolina, Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, but how do we fix the compression of the teachers that have been there? So you're talking about a lot of money to recruit the new ones, but then also we got to pay the existing ones so that the existing one isn't making, say, $50,000 a year and the new one starts at 48 when it took her like 5 or 10 years to get there. But they have reached a framework between Destin Hall and Phil Berger. They have reached an agreement.
He's on his way out.
He is on his way out.
So I guess he had to do something.
The sheriff beat him. Sam Page.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Sure was.
Yep.
So teacher raises, they want 8% for new for teachers all over. But now I did the math on new teachers. They want 17% increase on what they want to start new teachers at to put them. I think that would put them the highest among all of our neighbors.
Really?
For starting teachers, though.
Okay. Well, I did a little research.
Okay.
So, teacher pay. North Carolina is roughly, what did it say? 20%, 19 to 20% below the national average.
So if it costs $100 to live average, we are at like 80.
Yep.
$80.
Okay. So that's what it costs to live here.
Okay.
No, average pay, that was the teacher pay is 20% less than the national average.
Yeah, I'm saying.
But cost of living here in North Carolina is only 3% less than the national average.
So we're getting paid 80 and it costs 97.
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So our teachers not only are not getting an increase big enough to sustain a livable wage, but they're significantly less. So even if you do get the pay raise, you're still going to be.
Well, with my basic broken math, I just justified 17% for new teacher pay.
You did. But what about the old teachers?
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
And that's what they call compression. And it's, again, we have local examples of that. The sheriff's department went through and reviewed their salaries for compression. I know City of Fayetteville did with the police. And I also know that the police, I think they got rid of a few positions to get to being fully staffed now.
I can promise you that there are positions throughout all of North Carolina's state government or whatever that are extra positions that probably could be done away with. Not the ones that I'm applying for, but
they leave
others.
them in the budget so they get the budget. eliminate the positions, because then they would be able to ask for less money the following year. So they leave those positions empty.
But see, that's something to me. If your position has been vacant for 2 years or more, it goes out of your budget automatically. In my personal opinion, if I were a friend of David Bullock's, I would tell him that you would do an audit and say, if the position has been empty for 2 years or more, then you do no longer get the money.
And shout out to Auditor Bullock. He started his own podcast, I saw. And
so I'm getting his newsletters too.
We're definitely going to have him back in here, but he's doing an excellent job, very visible, with the auditor's job. And I think people are starting to understand it's not punitive. When he goes in, he's looking out for the taxpayers and how our resources are spent. And
he's finding a lot of stuff.
And a lot of stuff that you really got to scratch your head. Like, we have Town of Hope Mills. We had town manager Chancellor McLaughlin. He basically so the report said that he gave raises without proper documentation, and unfortunately,
and higher than they were, a higher rate.
Yeah, more percentage and whatever else. But they also, so here's a greater problem. Their HR system was both on paper files and electronic. It's not unified. There's not one single point of truth, is what these software people say now. So it's hard to find what was happening. But then when he was queried, his response was, I didn't need because technically he didn't need the oversight because he was the town manager. He has the authority. But
a proper response would have been, I didn't realize. It would have been great to, in the future, I will.
And honestly, I was surprised, knowing Mr. McLaughlin and having met him before, I was surprised but I think I'm going to write that off to, I think people have just been chomping at his rear end.
I believe so.
I think it's just because the level of vitriol and like constant attacking of the board in Hope Mills and of the citizens. I mean, the board has clapped back at some of the people. I think there was the allegation of that binder full of Hope Mills chatter, screenshots and all that. But at any rate, Auditor Bullock's doing a hell of a job, and I'd like to have him back on. So let's talk about the budget again some more. What do we have? I mean, what does that mean for us in Cumberland County?
I don't know. What does it mean?
Well, our teachers are going to make more money.
That's a good thing.
But also our county commission did fully fund the schools, which increased the supplement so state teachers are paid by the state a certain amount, and then the counties therein pay a supplement to increase their pay. So we were able to, I think, give them like $5,000.
I thought a lot of the money went to like the buildings and stuff.
So yes, the capital. That's one thing to bring up. There was an issue with the Spring Lake school that just closed, I think Lillian Black, and it was in Watch Out, Fayetteville. Everybody was losing their mind because the school was going to sell it to the county for $1.
Okay.
And everybody's losing their damn minds. And I went in there, I said, guys, the county bought it, built it, and the school system used it for 30 years. And now the school system's not using it, so they have to sell it. They have to get it off their books. They're transferring it back to the county for a reasonable consideration of $1. So now the county can do whatever they want with it. They can make it a community center. They can bulldoze it and sell it on the private market and generate revenue for the county. But see, the schools don't pay property taxes. So imagine that whole campus now is going to now be redeveloped into something commercial or something that generates property tax. That's how we can pay for more schools.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was funny. People are losing their mind. I'll buy it for $1. It's like, it's not $1, bro.
It's $1 because the county already paid. The taxpayer. No, the county didn't pay for anything. The taxpayers already paid for it. Just saying.
Well, bottom line with the state budget, everybody that listens to the cabinet here, you're influenced by the budget. You probably pay into it, your paycheck, whatever. The single most important state level story that's been developing in the last few weeks that we weren't around, but safe to say we're on them. So another issue driving much of this budget conversation was teacher pay. We're going to drill into just that, and that's the defining education issue of 2026. So what do you got? A lot that you dug more into this one.
Well,
I felt like.
Well, I actually brought it up in the last segment. But yes, kind of, sort of. But just the fact that it's not whether teachers deserve more money. It's whether the proposal is enough to recruit new teachers and keep the experienced teachers in the classroom and improve. The thing is, we've got to improve our educational outcomes. I was actually looking at educational outcomes because they were talking about having more money for opportunity scholarships. And did you know that educationally, children on the opportunity scholarship, they actually test lower than people in public schools? However, yes, I was surprised about that.
Yeah.
However, the graduation rate is higher, and the continuing ed, like college and things like that, rate is extremely higher. So while they may not test as well, and I have theory as to why they don't test as well.
Why is that?
Because public schools teach you what's on the test.
Right. That's their main focus throughout I mean, even Mr. Hatch said his eyes rolled a little bit when we said standardized testing.
Right. But the people that are on opportunity scholarships are learning a wide girth of things and not necessarily what's on the test.
Right.
If I drill you 2 + 2 is 4, 2 + 2 is 4, 2 + 2 is, you're going to know when you get to the test, 2 + 2 is 4. If I teach you a wide thing of X,
they're busy teaching the actual skills and how to study versus the public schools pushing kids through.
That's my hypothesis. I don't know if it's true.
I think that's plausible. The problem with, and I even blamed our own party for the No Child Left Behind deal back in 2001 or whenever it came out. We were looking for a benchmark for teachers. We were just grasping for how can we make this? And it was well-intentioned and horribly executed.
Yep.
But I believe that the private schools, but the thing is, and about that surplus that we're going to have in the budget, you mentioned the number to me. It was going to be several hundred.
No, it's going to be over $1 billion.
It's going to be $1 billion in surplus. But
in 2 years.
But the problem is we have the unfunded mandate of Medicaid. The federal government is stopping funding certain things, so we are going to have to pay that bill.
Okay, but so in my watching of all of this stuff and all of these things, they're stopping this Medicaid, they're stopping this. I don't see anybody on the news saying my benefits were cut off. What I'm finding that they're cutting has been the fraud. So maybe it's possible that it's not going to affect the individual, just possible. Maybe it's not going to affect the individuals as much as everybody seems to think that it is, because they're doing away with the hospice cares where there's 10 of them in a 1 mile radius. And it's just a little strange.
Well, and that's amazing how much we can probably save by and that's another, sorry to name drop again, state auditor, but one of his podcasts, they talked about the technology he's using. Now, when we spoke to him, we know that he's not using the same IT that the state uses, and he's using commercially available stuff, but it's used for forensic purposes, the AI and stuff that he's using. So he's probably going to have a role in administering how we pay for the Medicaid, the unfunded mandate. I would think they're going to involve him and say, look, you need to scrape these lists and see who's legit, who's not, who's suspect of fraud. And, I think there's an affordable way to go forward. I don't think we need to spend all of the surplus, but
I think it should be capped at X amount of dollars. How much the state, but the budget. Let's say the budget is $1 billion. I don't know what our state budget is, but let's pretend it's $1 billion. I know it's more, but whatever. But pretend it's $1 billion. I think that we should only have a surplus in not to exceed 15% of that, or it's kind of like your mortgage. They have that. What's it called? Where you pay for
in taxes,
escrow.
Escrow.
Your escrow can only be a certain percentage of how much the bills are.
Okay.
So I think that should, because nobody can spend my money like I can.
Right. So you want a refund?
No, or we get a tax break.
Right.
1 year, no taxes.
That'd be nice. You're never going to convince a whole legislature full of money grubbing
no, because
politicians. They need everything they know to say is more, more, more. I will point out that Governor Stein did propose a higher teacher raise at 11%, and the Republicans did come back with 8%. So
I'm kind of disappointed in the Republicans for that.
Yeah, I'm sure there were reasons. I'd like to know the reasoning behind it.
I would like to know the reasoning too. Yeah. Maybe we can have.
I don't think that's
Representative Wheatley on here.
Yeah, I think so. I think we could, or Senator McGinnis. Isn't he on the money committee? Appropriations.
Yeah,
Thought he was.
I
Yeah,
think he might
was.
be.
Yeah, he's the money guy. So,
well, one's in the House and one's in the Senate. I want to hear maybe both ideas and both perspectives.
All right,
because
we'll
that
see.
was a point.
Let's
of
see if we can get
contention.
them to call in maybe next
Yeah.
Monday night. It's because I know they're busy. They're in session. They are
session,
knee
yes.
deep in this thing. So one thing about those school vouchers, I just want to say this. You know, I actually heard Governor Stein say this on another. I mentioned this before in another episode of ours, but there was another podcast he was on, and he said that we're spending money like we're a poor state. Now, I don't believe we need to be a spendthrift and just spend the hell out of everything, but when it comes to opportunity scholarships, do we not think that the budget is large enough to fund the schools the way they need to be funded and to provide the opportunity scholarships to get kids now out of underperforming schools? Because that's what it's meant for. If you have the potential to go to a private school, get the hell out of that low performing school. And that's what they started off as.
They've been around for more than 30 years.
I just want to mention that it is possible to do both without necessarily taking from the public school system. I don't believe that to be a one-to-one, apples to apples comparison of what's happening there.
I agree.
So in Cumberland County, let's see, we are the number one recipient of opportunity scholarships in the state.
Really?
In this county. Yes, we are. Now, one argument I believe was made was that the private schools have increased their prices since the scholarships kicked in.
Yeah.
But that is also free enterprise. So, you know,
more people competing for your school.
That's right.
And why are they competing for schools? Because schools are better.
Because you don't turn out North Carolina public schools a good product.
That's right.
If you had a best product, and now that's part of that Leandro thing about everybody being equal.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is kind of off the table, maybe we'll see some schools start to really be able to compete, because I think they were constrained by that arbitrary, what was it? Fair, sound education, the most ambiguous language ever to come out of a court. So I think every North Carolinian, we all support good teachers and strong schools, but we definitely see a different way of how to get there. Of course, I like to think I'm right. Most people are wrong, but
we should probably have some parents on here or call in or whatever that are products of the Opportunity Scholarship. Some that are less fortunate, because that's what it's for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how much do you have to earn?
I've heard the argument too. First of all, depending on your income, you get less. Second of all, if you have siblings, the second and third sibling get less than the first guy. So it's not an arbitrary, like everybody gets $5,000 or everybody gets, it's tiered, and it's already accounted for naturally the income of the parent. But when it comes to the income of the parent, okay, they're high earners. Okay, they probably pay more taxes in than you do. I was going to say. So why can't they have control over where their child is educated, especially if they had the bad fortune of moving into a horrible school district?
Why would I, as a person that earns a lot of money, want to come to a school district that's a tier one school? No, probably wouldn't. But if I have an opportunity scholarship that as a wealthy individual, and I can help offset the cost of putting my kids in a really good school.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to do the best for your children.
That's right. Nobody looks out for your children like you look.
The thing about opportunity scholarship is just that. It's the opportunity to not let your child be lost in the machine of public schools with their underperformance. Now, I feel like we're going to see some improvement with the public schools now that Leandro's off the table. Because
that's going to be a while.
Well, it's kind of like a flywheel. They're going to have to push it slowly a little bit, but once they get it going, I think, and again, Mr. Hatch suggested, he had a thing about the middle school, how we lose the students in the middle, that he had specific professional training for those teachers to retain those students. And I think that the more people we have like that involved, I think the better. I think we will see an improvement. I have a positive feeling about what it is. Well,
if you think so, then from your lips to God's ears.
There you go.
Well, yeah. We'll see what happens. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so education is not the only issue families are talking about. Housing costs, property taxes, they dominate kitchen table conversations. They sure do. They sure do.
Look, we like growth. It's one of the problems that we want to have. Now, the alternative is decline in our communities. We don't want to have a declining community. We want to grow. The challenge is making sure the roads, the schools, utilities, and public safety can keep up with people moving here.
Well,
I think it's more than a matter of just hiring more police. I mean, you have to have a different kind of police chief. You have to have a different kind of city manager or town manager, whatever. The other thing is, though, and this is one I'll notate from, say, Hope Mills, which seems to be the fastest growing little town in Cumberland County. There's a lot of people that are mad about the traffic and this, and it used to be country and idyllic and all this other stuff. Well, people are putting their money there. They want to move with you.
Right.
So either buy a house 15 miles out in the middle of nowhere and establish a new foothold, or just accept that these people, they want to live with you. They're making your community more affluent by the more people that come there.
Well,
that's the way I feel.
Most people don't object to growth.
Yeah.
They object to getting the bill after years of growth without enough planning.
Mm-hmm.
We keep getting bills that are increasing because nobody is saying, hey, this is how we're going to grow. This is where the money, they just keep adding to our bills.
Well, like Michael Scott said, more money, more problems.
Different problems.
Well, but again, like I said, you can't have the same town manager with 50,000 people or with 100,000 people that you had with 50,000. It's a different skill set, I would believe. So as you grow,
I don't know. I've never been a town manager.
Well, man, here's your
shot.
Maybe
no, I'm not qualified for that. Hey, I'll throw my hat in the ring.
I think you'd be less hated if you became a lawyer. But
right. But I will say that maybe you're growing and your skill set is growing with your town if it grows at an even rate.
You would think, but I've had discussions with former electeds.
So you're saying when your town grows, we fire the town manager?
It's not a violent type of thing. I mean, what's the life cycle before they have their own careers to look out for too, that they're looking for another opportunity or whatever else. And I'm not saying that I want somebody to pick up and grow with us, but if you look at the industry, I mean, there's a whole cottage industry about, can't you get a master's in public administration?
Probably.
There's a whole bunch of them. And I think you can get a PhD in it. You can get it piled higher and deeper as much as you want to go. But it's a profession. And I think the people that are doing it are professionals. And I just believe that you kind of want to right size your talent, that you want the right tool for the job.
Right.
Now somebody that's been with us for 10, 12 years, they're going to know the town inside and out.
Right.
Which is good. And it's probably not good too.
Yeah. So I will say that when you get to know something really well, you start overlooking things.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you walk into I'm sure you do this. You walk into your restaurants every day.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that, oh, there's a crack over there.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody walks in, oh, look at this guy's got cracks everywhere. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you do.
My pet peeve is like a dirty phone or a dirty POS because they just touch it every day and they don't notice the accumulation. But if I go in there like on a weekly, it's like, oh God,
I do that with my ATMs. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to touch these.
Yeah.
So I bring but it
takes the third party perspective,
right,
to be like, oh, that needs to be maintained. So, property taxes.
I say we do without.
For
your primary dwelling.
I like that DeSantis is now, they're coming out with more details on how they would exempt. Because the first thing I heard, the first thing that's screaming in my mind when I hear they don't want to pay property taxes anymore is, how the hell are you going to fund police, fire, and EMS? And then also, who is going to defraud this system? Okay. So think about this though. What if the county just decides to, if they adjust their valuations, say you have $250,000 exempt, your house is $400,000 now, you still pay $150,000.
Mm-hmm.
What if they just start pricing everything at $500,000 on up?
That would be pretty disingenuous.
It would. But look, the house always wins.
That's true. I didn't think about all the corrupt people that we have in our offices.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's any one.
Oh no, they're all together corrupt. So
look, when I working with the restaurants, if I ever put in a new system or a new item or whatever else, the first thing I started with was, how is it going to shake through the cracks? How's it going to be stolen or abused or whatever else? Then I work backwards to the control.
Okay.
So that's just automatically, I go straight to absolutely the worst human behavior, unfortunately. And then I'm pleasantly surprised when they don't act that way.
Well, that's hilarious, because that's exactly what my argument was, because I just went to Republican thing this weekend, and I was talking about the plan of organization, just to be totally 100% off on a total different tangent. We were at District 7 convention, and I was like, you guys read the plan of organization, because this may not apply to you, but you have to imagine the worst person possible. Imagine your worst person, and you put them in that position. How are they going to do it?
Right.
What is the potential there?
So that actually brings me to a pretty good point. So last Tuesday I did go to the Civic Center Commission Board, the Crown Center that I'm on, and I did make a motion. It was seconded and accepted by the board that we are requesting an economic impact study for the Crown Coliseum, because after much research and time with the operator OBG out there and stuff like that on my own time, we don't believe it exists.
Nope.
It never existed. And I'm afraid the economic impact of $35 million was written on a napkin someplace in a bar. And then it was, you know how they say you say a lie enough times and then people start to believe it. I don't think it was a straight out lie. I think it was based in some kind of reality. I just don't know whose.
It was probably a projection, and then they liked that number and they kept it.
Now, we have requested, so our board is going to send a request to County Commission. We're going to request that they commission the report. Now, that can be done by subject matter experts like the TDA here, the Convention Visitors Bureau.
You're not going to hire an outside?
No, we have enough. We got enough.
I was going to say, can we please use somebody from Cumberland County? Okay.
Well, the thing is, these organizations, they kind of know how to do these reports, and they have the data available.
Right.
And very honestly, I looked at Commissioner Patel, and I'm like, look, a lot of this I have available as a CCIM realtor, as a commercial investment member. A lot of the data now it's scarily available to me. I can tell you how much people spend on, like at CVS, or I can tell you the average market potential for something. We use it for site selection. So, if somebody wants to put a McDonald's there, we say, well, does it match?
Right.
So I'm able to get that. So it's not like it was 10, 15 years ago with the data, but
I mean, how many events do they have out there at the Crown anymore?
They have a lot.
Do they? I don't hear about any of them.
Here's one benefit, I think, of being on the Crown board. And
free tickets?
No, we don't get free tickets.
Okay.
No, we do not. So don't volunteer thinking you're going to get free tickets. The thing about that board is you're supposed to be a community advocate. You're supposed to be on that board and say, really have your eyes open as to what all they do out there. And they do a lot. There's usually an event every day out there.
Really?
It's just not in the main Coliseum. It could be in the theater, it could be in the arena.
What are they doing to advertise this stuff?
Well, they have new marketing director, a friend of mine from the Chambers, name's Gary Rogers. He was with WKML Beasley for a long time. He's over there now trying to direct their marketing. I think they're building things you're not seeing yet.
Okay.
And, but I have seen more press releases from them. I have seen more visibility, but it's hard to measure because you've got I think the recent number for our population is about 340,000 in the county. That's a lot of people to advertise to, for sure. But where I was going with the whole commission thing, finally we won. We were going to ask commission for that study, basically to say, look. So
the commission can still say no.
They could. I doubt they will. They seem pretty pro facts these days.
Well, you've got an election coming in November, so it better happen soon.
And so I went live.
May change.
I went live by accident right before the show. I was trying to record a video. I'm going to record a video and invite people to the show, but I'm going to tag them in it and basically guilt them into publicly. Anyway.
Okay.
But anyway, I accidentally went live with that one, but because we need to have a lot of these guys on. We need to hear from the Democrats. We need to hear from the independents. We need to hear from the conservatives and the Republicans. And we need to hear what is their value proposition? What do they offer? Why should we give them a damn vote? Why should I use my ballot for you? Again, I digress. Back to the commission. What you said earlier about trying to, at District 7, with the plan of organization for the party, we have been trying, with the current board I'm on, we've been trying to get more authority from the commission down to the board. The only fear is right now we have a good mix of folks on that board. We have
you have to imagine.
We have realtors, we have teachers, we have attorneys, a couple of attorneys, and then you got guys like me. You got people from the chamber, people well versed in tourism, stuff like that. So you have some industry people on there, and yeah, it'd be great if we could get some more jobs for us to do. But then imagine if everybody gets cousin Uncle Eddie, because cousin Uncle Eddie came out and sat up at a poll for me during my campaign, and you put dummy on there.
Well, there's a difference in cousin Uncle Eddie that is worked the polls, and cousin Uncle Eddie that's actually good for the job.
Yeah,
it has to be okay. Here's a job that I think my friend would be. You do the interview, whatever. But I mean that to me, that's part of building relationships. Because a lot of people, you don't want her to ask. No, you do. I want all of my friends in politics that I know to say, hey, she might be really good at that, because I might be. So yes, and nowadays you're competing with thousands of people online. Some of them aren't even real. They're like, are you a real person? Yes, I am.
Are you talking about applying for jobs again?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Well, up until the last couple of years, the appointments process for county boards has been, as far as I know, they put
Cousin
your name.
Eddie.
Yeah, they put your name on a list in the clerk's office, and if one of the commissioners happens to come by, then they'll say, yeah, let's vote on this guy. It's more formalized now. They have a process.
So what is it now?
I think they tried to make it more like the city's process. You have to go online and apply, and there's no interview. It's just a up or down vote at city council or county commission. Still, it's better than it was. It's not there yet. Let's just put it like that.
So if cousin Eddie has 3 friends on county commissioners,
then cousin Eddie's going to get it.
Okay.
That's all right. I mean, hopefully there'll be enough smart people in the room to counteract cousin Eddie's crazy. I think there will be. I have faith in the groups we do have. They are run pretty decent. I mean, we follow Robert's Rules of Order, and
I love rules.
Unfortunately, people are afraid to speak out in these meetings. That's one thing, I'm not very shy about. It always cracks me up when we go over the financials, and then I get the chairwoman says, Mr. Pappas, what do you have? Because she sees me fervently taking notes, so she knows I'm up to something.
Well, I can respect the fact that you speak out, because I'm the problem child, because I always speak out. Because to me, if you're not speaking out, what are you doing?
Well, you're not nice. You see, you're not nice like me when you speak out. See,
is that what it is?
Yeah, you're not sweet and sunshine like me.
I see here. Is that what I need to do? Yeah. No, it's matter of fact. It's not that I'm being sweet or not sweet. It's matter of fact. It's here.
People do not like hearing the truth about their their shortcomings. Plain and simple.
I do. Yeah, I mean, I don't like it, but I'm like, okay,
said you were a normal bird, though. Yeah. Come on.
I like feedback, because how can I change and be a better human if you don't give me feedback? And one of my feedbacks is that I'm too direct. And you know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to be nicer, kinder, gentler.
Well, you are a nice and kind person. You just don't appear that way to most people.
That's
sometimes.
Right. Yeah. I don't. Because that's me, in my opinion, being soft and weak and being taken advantage of, because I've been taken advantage of a lot of my life. And so I don't let people in as a general rule.
Yep. Well, the acts of service is one of my things. Words of affirmation don't go far with me. I love you, or I whatever. I'm like, no, I'm questioning. What do you want?
I've tried to do more things for you. Do I do that?
You do. You have.
I'm not a doer thing for I don't think of, I should have done that later. But
well, before we go,
because I do love you. Let's say that online. I do love Peter Pappas. He's a wonderful one, and he is got himself the sweetest, most kindest, and loving little girl that I love them together.
She is going to pass out if she sees you talking like that. But to your point, she did let loose that I think you and another friend of mine at my father's funeral told her that even if you and Peter don't work out, we'll keep you in the divorce.
Well,
man,
I might have said that.
Ouch.
I feel bad that it was at your dad's.
I'm glad that I have friends that are that good that at least, they'll take her in,
right.
She won't be lost.
It's not an either or. I would take you both.
Okay. All right. Just separate weekends or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll divide up weekends.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. I do want to mention the data center debacle that's going on.
What's going on with that? I haven't heard anything about it.
So the stupids are running wild online. And I'm sorry, but most people don't understand what the county and the city is trying to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, when it comes to data centers, we have absolutely zero regulation,
Right.
None. So, and you have to understand that moratorium, or there was the other word, those are legal terms.
Right.
So before you apply a moratorium, you got to say, what's it for? How long is it for?
What does it
You
entail?
have to be detailed.
Yep.
You can't just say moratorium. Okay, so that's number one.
Well, you can say it, but it doesn't.
Well, it's the equivalent of Michael Scott yelling, "I declare bankruptcy," and then not closing a credit card. Okay,
Right.
So where we're at with the data centers is that the city and the county are both working on a framework of, if a data center, then we do this. Okay, because right now we have nothing in our codes at all. Data centers are a new construct. So we're just trying to create some kind of a framework on how we would accept them in our community.
Before we just build a house, we're putting the foundation in so it doesn't fall over.
Yes. Because the nightmare scenario is you get what's called a bad actor. Some evil Acme Corporation, comes in and, well, they don't have rules, so we're going to do what the hell we want.
Right.
Then they sue the city and they win much money because we didn't have the rules. So why should we say cry boo at anything?
Right.
So I wish that some of the
are you saying this online to those little people that you
I really don't argue much in those groups, because it's just, you can say the sky's blue and it's people just are like, whatever. And I sometimes life too short. It's not worth it. They have nothing to do, obviously, and they're in their parents' basement, most of them. So,
okay.
But at any rate, I'm not as concerned with the data centers, because I feel like we're trying to take steps to be responsible about it. And the other thing that to me is comical,
our city council and our county commissioners right now are doing a good job.
They are trying to do the job.
Okay.
They're trying to get there, but they're being attacked and distracted. And look, they're public officials. That's the job description.
Right.
I feel like commission has done a good job of trying to hold public hearings and stuff like that. But remember, people may go and they're going to say justice wasn't served. Well, just because you don't like the outcome doesn't mean the process wasn't followed. Right. And that's what we have to remember in our system. You hear the people, you evaluate, you make a decision as a board, and you have to move on. City council maybe could afford to do a couple other public hearings, but I don't know what they're working on.
I was going to say, would that be repetitive?
No, because the city has its own development ordinance, and so does the county.
Okay.
And then Town of Hope Mills has one, but the smaller guys like Spring Lake and Hope Mills usually. I just
can't imagine somewhere in the city having a data center. More than likely, it's going to be out in the county.
It possibly could, but
I'm just thinking
the concerns for the data center are power usage, water usage. We're already, water's already tough to come by here. Mm-hmm. We're working on regulated water out to the edges of our county. And the county commission has set up water districts so they can attack each section. And it sounded like they're making some progress. But at any rate, the whole data center thing, I'm like, look, first of all, you're on Facebook complaining about it. And that's exactly a data center that you're using to argue you don't want data centers. I don't want one to come in here and drink all of our water. But I also think there's a better way to handle it. And I think we just need to give these guys a little bit of time to come up with something. So
okay, you guys have 10 days.
Yeah, 10 days. So get on it, guys. Get on it. I'm softballing it in as much as I can. So well, I think it's about time we get out of here.
Yeah.
We have a guest coming on tomorrow.
We sure do. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this guy. So the conservative mayor from Monroe, Union County. He is one of the closest elections in North Carolina history. Mm-hmm. He and his opponent tied with exactly 970 votes each.
And how do they decide it?
They flipped a coin.
Flip a coin. I love it.
So our flipping of the coin winner is Mayor Burns, and he will be here with us tomorrow.
Excellent. And we most likely go live. I don't know. We might save that one for later.
Yeah.
So everybody, thank you for joining us as we return to the cabinet. I do appreciate the support shown to my family over several weeks. But as always, we'll continue bringing you the straight talk from the heart of Carolina. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a good evening.